So it's been so long that I was hyped for a shooter that I didn't want to jump immediately on a first 24 hours type of video. I really wanted to digest this entire game for almost a week and then come back and talk about this new game, Battlefield 6. And the reason is that I wasn't hyped for a shooter in a long time, and I think it's very much true that this community in general of first person shooters really wanted to have something they could actually be happy with, have fun with, feels casual, and just overall a great experience. And of course we had the record breaking beta which knocked out everything in the ballpark, which made me even more hyped for this game because it seemed that they were ticking all the boxes, groundness, casual, fun experience, immersiveness. So I think it's all there. And after the beta, we were all hyped for the launch, the extra maps, and see if we've got more of the Battlefield feeling, because the beta was more, infantry focused, right? So I think everybody really wanted to see the full depth and breadth and the adjustments made, and I think that they knocked it out of the ballpark. They nailed it from my perspective. And on the other side, I'm just going to be honest, Call of Duty is just not my game anymore. It's not. And I think it's Nick Merckx. I don't know for sure who said, or it was Swag. I just don't know. But he said that once complaining about Call of Duties are dads. And I think he's right. I'm not even offended by that. I think nobody should be offended by that, because for real, I'm 46. I'm not looking for unicorns, farting ammo, and turtle collabs and a business model that just aims at milking the community dry and only provide some changes we've been asking for about 8 years when Vincent Pella is creating a new game. So I'm indeed not hyped about that game anymore, and it's not my game anymore, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. If people want to enjoy Call of Duty for what it is right now and you're having fun, kudos. But I need to move on. But I do like the entire War of the Worlds on social media, with this guy taking a stab at the Call of Duty community, spending time 99.9% of the time in buildings because of all the airplanes and helicopters. So yeah, I think it's just a fun thing to see how these two worlds are clashing right now. And at the end of the day, a good Call of Duty is good for Battlefield, and a good Battlefield is good for Call of Duty, because at the end of the day, they are making changes for that community. So I do hope that sticks and carries on. But at the end of the day, I also was never the main Battlefield man. I wasn't. I did enjoy it entirely. Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1 for sure, and Battlefield 5 to an extent as well, though a rocky start. But then Battlefield 2042 came out, and I think, we don't have to go through that again. So, but if you're looking at the different games and experiences, they all brought some kind of an immersive with it, and Battlefield like moments. I think Battlefield 1 is one that really stands out as one of the greater battlefields of modern era. I think so. But the best thing about Battlefield is that you can have a great experience despite KD. You could play support, help, assist, objective. And with Battlefield, I'm going to be very honest. Of course I care that we win, of course. But if we don't win, I still had a blast, and either if I'm rocking a 0.8 KD, I don't care. I have a blast. I'm enjoying. I have fun Battlefield moments, regardless of skill and progression. And when we look at the Battlefield 6 record-breaking launch, it's surpassing every freaking record there was. 750,000 concurrent players, I think 500,000 within 20 minutes, and well deserved. We were all in server queues. I don't even freaking care that I was in a freaking queue, because I don't mind waiting, because I'm going to be witnessing something really, really, really big. So I was stoked about it, and kudos to these guys who knocked out every record out of the ballpark. So What I also enjoyed is that they're really paying attention to all these Chronos and bans things, and I do understand that even Chronos now poured out the message that don't use our products because you will get banned, and we're currently investigating the situation, which is the fun thing. But okay, let's just dive into a few things. You know, the single player campaign. I am never that enormously hyped for a single player first person shooter. It's usually 5 to 6 hours, and we've all done the assignments, right? Just knock out a gun over there, collect some intel over there, snipe someone over here. So it's not that great, but I was actually kind of looking forward to how that would play out in a Frostbite engine, and it would only release on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, PC. So I was having huge hopes for how it just looks. I was actually hoping for a great story, but it's kind of generic, boys. And yeah, okay. It's I'm just not gonna lie. I wasn't too much impressed with the visuals. I think they were downright horrible at some point. But okay, I think it's a okay-ish one playthrough for some challenges. I've seen that there's some challenges attached to it, but I don't see zero value in repeating. And I even caught myself just going through the levels and don't care about any collectibles and just take away the message, the assignments, and then move on, right? So on top of that, I also found some weird bugs and weird AI. It's 2025, you know, and I think when IGN poured out their 5 for the single player campaign, which was actually the first real score it got from a bigger platform like IGN, and everybody was just, whoa, what the hell is going on there? But it's well deserved. It's a 5, maybe with some imagination you could make it a 6, but it's not really something that stands out. Fun playthrough, but that's it. But what Battlefield is actually meant for is the multiplayer, and oh my freaking god, am I enjoying this game. It's grounded, you know. The call for a type of game that Battlefield 6 has been going on for quite some time, and what they're doing is maybe not groundbreaking, because if you're looking at from a Battlefield standpoint, they just took what was already working for them and was already good, and they just expanded on that or left it like it is. It's a true Battlefield experience, but yes, there is a Call of Duty nudge. I would say that there is a Call of Duty nudge and an element to it, with some focus on infantry left and right. So I do understand some of the criticism of the really hardcore Battlefield community. But for me, it's a fine, strong, good balance with open maps, with infantry-focused sections, and I'm actually fine with that. You know, Battlefield needs to evolve to be successful, and that means attracting new people, and the core needs to stay true, and that's what they're exactly doing. If you're looking at from a technical standpoint, yes, for example, smoke has volumetric elements to it, so it sticks in a room, it doesn't go through walls. But it doesn't have ray tracing, so it has some compromises left and right to bring that full experience. So they're not doing anything groundbreaking. Yes, they're expanding on what they already had with the destruction mode, but if you just look at what it does in game, it's exactly what it did in Battlefield 3 and 4, but they just expanded on it, and that's okay. If it just evolves in how it presents the maps and what kind of maps and the flavors between the maps, and maybe some domination left and right if you like that, then that's okay, right? And I think that if Battlefield needs to do that to be successful, then go for it, right? I don't see any problem with that. But we also need to thank the man behind this game, Vince Impella. You know, this is the man. Medal of Honor, created it, left, started Infinity Ward. First project was actually called Medal of Honor Killer, which was Call of Duty, and he's behind the big titles, right? And then he moved on, started Respawn, created Titanfall. Titanfall 2, for me, still one of the best, if not the best, fast-paced first-person shooter. It's not. I'm not even comparing it to COD or Battlefield. I think it stands on its own. I think it's a shame it didn't got the attention, but it's one of the best shooters still out there. I don't know if the servers are still up, but that's something he created. Apex Legend. And now this dude is coming just around the corner casually just revitalizing just Battlefield. You know, this dude. You know, thank you, Vince. This is actually one of the best, I think, revitalization of a franchise with a great platform to build on for years to come. So, are there negatives? Yeah, of course there are negatives. I think the grind is pretty tough. Obviously, it's not an annual game, so we have longer. But okay, this grind could be nerfed a bit or buffed in for us, but it's a bit of a grind. I believe it takes about between 15 and 20 hours per weapon to master it. So that's quite a lot. But on the other side, yeah, it makes it rewarding. That's overall true. And the game feels solid. It's a massive foundation to build upon. It's not flawless. We have the glitches. We have the Bloom discussion. I think it's a bit over-exaggerated, but okay, it's something that's been discussed. The glitches sometimes with the, what is it? The drone where you can just hammer on and then go up. I've seen it a few times in-game. But those are things that just needs to be patched out, and then it's fine. But the overall foundation is one of the most promising things I've ever seen. I can't lay this game down. It's not doing anything special or crazy, but it takes what works and it actually capitalized on that. So I'm already laying down a bit, chilling in my chair here, just talking about Battlefield. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to your takes, your notions. Do you like it? Do you play it? What's your take on Battlefield 6 at this point? And how do you see the future of the game? If you don't have any comment, leave a like, subscribe, and then I will for sure see you on the battlefield. 6 out.